A week after the magnitude 7.8 quake in Mindanao, another strong one hit the region past 5 this afternoon. The center was east of Governor Generoso, Davao Oriental, and had a magnitude of 6.2. As of today, June 15, the Office of Civil Defense has recorded 65 fatalities from the June 8 tremor, mostly from quake-induced landslides. 36 are still missing, most of whom came from Jose Abad Santos in Davao Occidental. Meanwhile, Sarangani's recovery efforts faced another setback after the area was hit by floods this weekend. Flood waters reached up to 2 feet in some barangays. Another cause of concern was the so-called coastal uplift in the towns of Glan and Jose Abad Santos. What was once part of the sea is now land, exposing corals and fish. FIVOLS explains this is actually a natural phenomena that happens whenever there's a massive quake. And to further explain this, we have with us Dr. Teresito Katoto Bacolcol, Director of FIVOLS. Katoto is wearing a face mask because he just underwent surgery. We hope you're fine, sir, and thank you for still saying yes to us for this interview. Magandang gabi po.
Magandang gabi din po sa inyo, ma'am. Thank you for having me here.
Pakipaliwanag po ang kahulugan o anong nangyayari sa isang coastal uplift.
Okay, so yung coastal uplift is the upward movement of a portion of the coastline or seafloor caused by a strong earthquake like what happened last June 8. Sa kasong ito, may mga dating nakalubog na areas tulad ng coral reefs at reef flats na naging exposed pagkatapos po ng lindol. Mahalagang maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan na ang ganitong proseso ay bahagi ng long-term geological evolution ng Pilipinas. So if makikita natin, marami sa ating mga bundok ay may mga limestones. Sa Baguio, may limestones. So yung mga limestones nanggaling po yan sa dagat and unti-unti silang umaangat dahil sa daan-daan o perhaps libo-libong events na katulad nung June 8 event.
Nakakaawa lang pong tignan na namatay yung mga corals at yung mga ibang mga yamang dagat.
Yes po, but again, may positive side naman ito. Nag-gain tayo ng beachfront. Medyo lumawak yung area natin. But again, we really have to accept that that's part of the natural geologic process ng Pilipinas.
So what we witness is something that, for instance, sabi nyo nga, ang mga kabundukan natin, ang iba dyan, makakakita tayo ng coral. So ibig sabihin, sa ilalim sila ng dagat, well, maybe thousands or maybe even millions of years ago.
That's right po. And in fact, we also observed the same thing last 2013, October, during the 2013 magnitude 7.2 Bohol earthquake. So doon sa Maribohok area, on the southwestern part of Bohol, umangat din. Almost the same, yung 2 meters and then yung coastline lumawak ng 200 meters. So it's one of the reasons why you have Chocolate Hills, yung Chocolate Hills natin na nasa gitna ng Bohol, were also formed in the same manner.
Interesting. Pero is there the other side of the coin naman? Yung ang lupa naman ang kukunin. That can happen too, right?
Yes, in some parts, for example, in Bohol, may uplift and may subsidence din naman.
Subsidence,
So,
okay.
yes, in some parts.
But in this particular case, Katoto, parang walang nakitang subsidence, no? Yung parang pagguho ng lupa or sinkholes like what was seen in Cebu.
Ang Cebu kasi is made up of limestone. So yung sinkholes and even Bohol, made up of limestone. So nakikita natin yung mga sinkholes in areas kung maraming limestones. So may mga kasama tayo ngayon naglilibot in Mindanao. Tinitingnan nila kung may sinkhole sa Balut Island. So hindi pa masyadong malawak yung coverage na hindi pa nakita lahat yung impact ng June 8 event.
Mabalik po tayo dun sa uplift, coastal uplift. Yung mga corals ba hindi na ho pwede yung dalin sa dagat para mabuhay ulit o mga patay na yon?
Unfortunately, naapektuhan talaga yung marine ecosystem natin, lalo na yung mga coral reefs, seagrass beds at reef flats na dating nasa ilalim ng tubig, but permanente nang na-expose sa hangin at araw. So again, we recommend na magsagawa ng detailed assessment yung DNR, BIFAR, at yung mga concerned LGUs upang matukoy ang extent ng epekto ng marine habitats at coastal livelihoods.
Now let's go to the rather strong aftershocks that were felt today. Maituturing pa rin po bang aftershock yon or panibagong quake po ba yon? Or part of the
Yung
main
kanina,
quake? Go ahead, sir.
hindi pa, it's not an aftershock, it's a different event. Iba din yung source noon, yung June 8 was the Cotabato Trench. Yung kanina, magnitude 6.2, was generated by the Philippine Trench. So magkaiba po yan, and it's 250 kilometers away from, yung epicenters ng dalawa is 250 kilometers yung distance. So hindi po sila connected.
It's not an aftershock, it's a separate earthquake pala.
That's right, it's separate earthquake generated by the Philippine Trench.
Now, what explains the rather frequent earthquakes down south?
Well, siguro malalakas lang ngayon, but the Philippines is located along the boundaries of several tectonic plates and meron tayong numerous active faults and trenches. So because of this tectonic setting, earthquakes regularly occur throughout the country, and nagkataon lang na in a span of 1 week, meron tayong malalaking lindol in southern Philippines.
Now this brings to mind the big one that may happen here in Luzon, because it's been some time since we've had a rather strong one. Although of course we can never predict. Ano pong masasabi ninyo?
Again, yung sinasabi natin, again, the big one na sinasabi natin that will take place along the West Valley Fault, ang sinasabi natin that we're ripe for the big one because the recurrence interval is every 400 to 600 years. And the last time it moved was 1658. Now, as we get closer to the lower limit, which is 400 years, yung probability of this one occurring ay tumataas. But it doesn't mean na, again, mangyari talaga yan by 2058. Could happen earlier, or it could happen later, or pwede ring mangyari yan on the upper limit, which is 600 years. That means 200 years from now. But of course, we have to assume that it will happen on the lower limit para mag-prepare tayo. Otherwise, sabihin natin na, it will not happen on the lower limit. It will happen on the upper limit, which is 200 years from now. Baka hindi na tayo mag-prepare. Kung nangyari yan on the lower limit.
Right. Pero base po sa obserbasyon ninyo and assessment from seeing, videos that were shared on social media on the actual occurrence of the 7.8 magnitude quake, would you say na medyo mas preparado na ang taong bayan sa mga ganitong kaganapan?
I would say that we're more prepared now than say 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Ang laki ng influence ng social media. Seconds lang, alam kagad natin kung anong nangyari, and nakikita natin yung reaction ng mga tao. But we still have a long way to go, especially doon sa coastlines. Kasi yung napansin natin, yung mga tao, instead of evacuating kasi nag-recede yung tubig, kumuha pa ng cellphone at nag-Facebook Live or video pa.
Oo
So
nga po.
that's wrong.
That's
Kasi
wrong.
ang sinasabi
Okay.
that's right. Kung biglang bumalik yun as tsunami waves. Although nagkaroon naman talaga ng tsunami, but hindi ganun kalaki.
Hindi
So, just 1.4 meters yung
Right.
na-record natin.
Yeah.
Paano kung if it happened like during the 1976 earthquake sa Cotabato Trench din, 8 to 10 meter tsunami waves ang bumalik in 5 minutes after the main shock.
Just
That's
5
the reason
minutes, ha? Just 5 minutes?
That's right. That's the reason why ang daming casualty at that time, 8,000. Kung paano kung nangyari ngayon, this time. So, yun na nga, kailangan siguro natin paigtingin pa yung information dissemination drive natin
Right.
along coastal communities.
Okay. Kasi yung tsunami, hindi rin pa, medyo unique po yung experience na yon. So maybe those videos can be used for education purposes na this is not what you should be doing.
That's right, that's right.
Now let's go to Mayon. Talagang we will take advantage of your presence here po. May strombolian activity at the summit. Pakipaliwanag po ang ibig sabihin nito.
Yung strombolian activity, these are just short explosive bursts of lava. So every now and then, meron tayong strombolian activity. In fact, for the past 24 hours, meron tayong 5 strombolian activity. Again, short explosive bursts of lava. So kapag dire-diretso yan, we will call that lava fountaining. Pero since pabugso-bugso lamang, we call that strombolian. And yung kahapon, umabot ng 200 meters. But we've been, since the start of the eruption of Mayon volcano, last January 6, nakikita natin yung strombolian activity every now and then.
But will this taper down, this activity, or do you see a strong one like a lava fountain coming?
Meron tayong lava fountaining pero paminsan-minsan short-lived lamang. And hopefully mag-taper off na yung activity ng Mayon volcano kasi more than 160 days na since nagkaroon ng effusive eruption. Okay lang effusive eruption, wag lang explosive eruption. The downside of effusive eruption is that, katulad ng nangyari ngayon, halos more than 6 months na and hindi pa humihinto.
And all signs indicate that it's going to go down rather than toward an explosive eruption?
This is following the 2023 template. So right now, ang nakita natin, effusive eruption pa rin. Kapag dumadami na yung, kapag nagmeron na tayong lava fountaining na sustained, yun na yung isa sa mga signs na magkakaroon na ng explosive eruption. But we're not seeing that right now.
May dalawa pang bulkan po, Katoto, ang Taal naman. Kamusta ang Taal?
Ang Taal volcano for the past 24 hours nakapagtala tayo ng 2 volcanic earthquakes. And right now, nasa alert level 1 pa rin yung Taal volcano. So meaning there's a low level of unrest. Alert level 1 siya since for the past 4 years na.
Is that very typical of Taal na 4 years ng ganyan?
Yes po. Mas magandang alert level 1 siya kesa, itataas natin to alert level 2. So, ganitong activity ng Taal is, mas okay kesa biglang magkakaroon ng maraming activity and we will raise it to alert level 2.
Okay. And now Canlaon, which has been, ilang taon na po yan?
Ang Canlaon volcano is on alert level 2 ngayon. And for the past 24 hours, meron tayong earthquakes na naitala. We have 19 volcanic earthquakes and kahapon yung sulfur dioxide niya is nasa 2,276 tons per day. And meron tayong 10 ash emission activity kahapon. And right now, again, nasa alert level 2 pa rin yung Canlaon volcano. And we're hoping na it will stay that way and then eventually mag-taper off din yung activity niya so that we will lower it to alert level 1.
But do you recommend widening the zone around the volcano to reduce to a reduction of population around that area?
Meron tayong permanent danger zone right now for alert level 2 ang Canlaon volcano, 4-kilometer permanent danger zone. So even at alert level 0 dapat walang tao diyan. Same with Mayon volcano, may permanent danger zone tayo which is 6 kilometers. And but of course we recognize the realities on the ground. May mga kababayan tayo na may hanap buhay inside the permanent danger zone, but sana yung LGUs meron silang project to relocate yung mga nakatira inside the permanent danger zone to a permanent settlement. Kasi nga every time na may activity yung vulkan, we resettle them and then bumabalik na naman sila kapag alert level 0 na. So it would be cost effective in the long run kung meron silang permanent, they will be resettled permanently somewhere beyond the permanent danger zone.
One final question. What do you recommend as a project or ano ba ang pwedeng gawin ng mga LGU sa mga permanent danger zones na yan na para napapakinabangan pa rin pero hindi na populated or hindi na tinitira ng mga ng kanilang mga constituents?
Um, Mahirap din kasing dapat walang talaga activity dyan, even yung farming. Kasi nga,
Siguro
anytime
mga
pwedeng
puno,
even at
ano
alert
po,
level zero.
gawing
Even at
forest.
that's right. Even at alert level zero, pwede magkaroon ng phreatic eruption. Yung phreatic eruption, wala po tayong ano dyan. We cannot predict when it will happen. So ang mangyari niyan, kapag may tao, like, even if, say, temporary lamang, and nagkaroon ng phreatic eruption, baka po maging casualty sila. So
Right.
dapat talaga i-abandon na yung area na yan.
Forested na lang.
That's right, that's right.
We thank
Nakakatulong
you.
pa mag-emit ng
Opo.
oxygen.
We thank you so much for enlightening us with your very clear explanations. FIVOLCS Director Teresito Bacolcol.